Welcome to Projector! The summer has kicked off early in the UK with Battleship, and now another summer blockbuster gets an early European release. It's Marvel's The Avengers Assemble! Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, steals the Tesseract, an energy cube that can be used to beam across worlds that S.H.I.E.L.D. had been secretly working on to aid an alien invasion. In response, Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, starts gathering all the Marvel superheroes together to stop him. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, and Chris Evans' Captain America to work alongside S.H.I.E.L.D. agents Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, and Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, to stop him. Soon, Chris Hemsworth's Thor, who wants to bring Loki to Asgardian justice, also joins the fray. But with this many egos in the room, can they set their differences aside to form the Avengers? Due to the high-profile nature of the film, obviously a lot of people are talking about it and probably spoiling the film's best moments. I, however, won't do this because I know that's grossly unfair to a lot of you who haven't had the chance to see this yet. So as usual for this show, I will endeavour to keep this a spoiler-free review, no matter how hard that may be. In a word, wow. Just wow. This movie rocked my socks off and then some. This has been something that Marvel has been building towards for the last 4 years, since 2008's Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, and this does not disappoint. What Joss Whedon has created here is possibly one of the best superhero films ever made. He has delivered everything you could have possibly wanted from this massive crossover. It is a masterclass in audience gratification, and you can tell in every single frame of this movie that he knows the characters, knows their personalities, and knows how to handle them. Considering the amount of characters here, and the amount of backstory at this point in the Marvel film continuity, the fact that Whedon not only successfully performs the balancing act, but manages to make it look easy, is quite an accomplishment. The Tesseracts, which has been building via the new element in Iron Man 2, the Asgardian teleportation device in Thor, and Red Skull's MacGuffin in Captain America, gets a satisfying payoff here. Although it very quickly reintroduces each of the main characters, it does largely assume that you're already familiar with them, so this is not newcomer friendly. I'd recommend, if you have the chance, to watch those 3 films I just mentioned and reacquaint yourself with them before seeing the film, although this is not essential. Now, some of you may be wondering what exactly sets this movie apart from, say, Battleship. Unlike recent Michael Bay-style blockbusters, Avengers does not go for the instant gratification route as seen in those films, where they're so desperate to please the audience, they start on a climatic tempo and hold the same note for the entire running time. What Avengers' slyest trick is that it actually builds and properly escalates. It takes the time to engineer the setups and then slowly deliver on them one by one. For example, with the Hulk, they don't actually make him transform until at least halfway through the film, but they make sure that the tension and stakes of that inevitable moment are high. When the movie goes into action overdrive at the end, you actually care what happens, because it feels like a conclusion and it's actually rewarding. Whedon understands that you don't play your entire hand at the same time, you wait for the right moment to play your devastating moves for maximum effect. It's actually really clever, and you can tell that a lot of thought has gone into who does what and where. It really shows that this sort of thing doesn't have to be dumb or lowest common denominator. But the movie's biggest asset is that it's full of character. It's overflowing with it. And really, that's not a surprise when you have so many larger-than-life personalities within the same film being written by Joss Whedon, whose writing you cannot say is lacking character. All the actors bring their A-game to this one, and there is not a single bad performance from any of them. The standout is probably Mark Ruffalo, who delivers a surprisingly understated turn as Banner, and given the room to actually act, delivers the best Hulk on the screen to date. Likewise, Loki is significantly improved over his last appearance in Thor, becoming a genuine threat. Samuel L. Jackson is finally given something to really sink his teeth into, his Nick Fury hinting at a slightly more sinister side, and probably the most badass the actor's been in years. The actors are given a lot of help from an extremely witty script that gives them some fantastic interplay, way, even in battle, and they really bounce off each other. Everyone gets a moment to shine here, even Thor and Hawkeye, who are alas the ones least utilised, but they're not wasted. It's very hard not to be satisfied leaving the film. This film will have you laughing in the aisles, and I actually reacted viscerally to some of the things that occurred on screen, and I can't even remember the last time that happened to me with a film. Expect your audience to be very loud and very entertained. Is Avengers perfect? No, of course not. The Whedon snark levels do occasionally reach critical mass, especially with Stark, and with this much going on, there are a few narrative shortcuts that have to be taken just to fit it all in. But will you care about that? Nope, because you'll be having a rollickingly good time. This is what summer blockbusters are all about, and even if you are the mildest fan of these characters, this is like Disneyland for you. No pun intended. Whedon's not only put out probably the best Marvel film to date, but he's set a high benchmark for the summer to follow. I saw the film in 3D and you know what? It was actually pretty good for a change. Whilst it's not essential to be seen in that format, if you enjoy 3D, you should see it like that, as it does give a little something extra to the film, despite being a post-conversion, and one of the best that I've seen. This is a true cinema experience that deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. Roll on the Dark Knight Rises, I say. I'm Matthew Buck, fading out.